Hello, welcome to my podcast on real relationships. In today's podcast, I'm going to talk about the four relationships in every relationship. I've done some podcasts on my YouTube channel about this, but I wanted to include it in this section because I think it's very pertinent to this section on real relationships. So there are four relationships. I have a relationship with myself and my own personal life, and then my partner has a relationship with their self. Then my partner has a relationship with me, and I have a relationship with my partner. So there's actually four running. If the four are running kind of equally, things seem to go really quite well because there's like the balance there. There's personal life and there's relationship life, and they're like both balanced. However, if you don't have them balanced, it's going to sort of start create problems for you. So firstly, you want to have a look and see, are you getting a personal life? Are you still going out with your friends, doing what you need to do? You've got your work or your business, you've got your interests, you've got your hobbies, you're having some downtime on your own. Are you getting that? Is this person you're with getting that? Are they able to go and do their activities, still run their lifestyle, see their group of friends, and they do that on their own? Are these two autonomous relationships existing strongly in your relationship? If they are existing strongly in your relationship, you've got like two strong trees there holding it up. However, if one of you is going off and doing what they want to do all the time, and the other person is not going off and having their own life, so to speak, like the life they had before we met one another, then it's going to create problems because the one who's going off and doing what they want can be quite happy, but the one who now has let go of their own personal life with their own personal interests and friends, maybe family members, activities they do, doesn't have that life. Now, they will do two things. They will either stay apart from you, or they will start to resent that you're away, and they won't like it that you go out to watch football or you go out with your friends. Because they're actually not doing that. They're just staying at home waiting for you and being needy. Try to get the two of you to have your own life. It might be very big, it might be very small, but it kind of has to be equal. So you can't have one person going out and living single life, as I call it, 75% of the time, and the other person's doing it 25%. You're going to get imbalanced. Try and do it about the same amount of time. And that way, that those two will actually coexist very well together. It's important that you have both of them working. In some relationships, neither of them are working. People get in the relationship and they just completely don't be who they are. And they just run everything through the us. I personally think that's not particularly healthy. I think you need the four to be balanced. But if it works for you, I suppose it works for you. However, you can't grow and there's not personal growth in it, in that relationship. It's just relationship growth. And I kind of feel it's a bit suffocating and a bit stifling. I remember talking to some couple and the only time they ever were apart was when she went to the hairdresser. Other than that, they did absolutely everything together. She eventually ended up getting really ill and dying. I'm not sure whether she wasn't just escaping. The other two relationships are also equally important. So the relationship that I have with my partner, where I meet my partner's needs and I kind of put them first, I prioritise that relationship and I'm with them. So if we've decided we're going to go out for dinner, I do the right thing and don't go running off to my personal relationship and go out with my girlfriend. If we've arranged to do it, I prioritise the relationship because that's important. I meet their need. And then vice versa, they're in a relationship with me and they meet my needs. If I want to go, for example, to the ballet, they say to me that they're not interested, but they'll come with me and they'll sit with me and we'll go and have a nice meal together and then a coffee after and make it into like a relationship thing, meeting each other's needs. So there's four needs being met. There's your needs in a personal one, your partner's needs in a personal one, and then your needs in the relationship and their needs in the relationship, and they're running. In the relationship one, the problem comes when one person, one partner, is meeting the needs, prioritising the relationship all the time, as should be in that section. and the other person is not. I remember saying to someone, I meet your needs in our relationship and you meet your needs in our relationship. Like, to me, it was very clear they were still meeting their needs in our relationship, and it actually messed it up. Therefore, you have got to put the relationship as a priority. When you have that imbalance in the relationship, there will be problems, and you need to talk to your partner about that. Maybe it's you. Maybe you're not prioritizing the relationship. Maybe you're not putting the person first in the relationship. You're not putting the relationship first right now, and you need to start doing that, because you're going to wreck it. Because at the end of the day, you'll just be in the I am on my own relationship, the single one again. If you are the other person, if your partner's not prioritizing the relationship, you need to talk to them about doing this and explain it to them this way, the 4 different ones, and how we need to meet all of them. They can't be just going off and doing what they want to do and not considering the relationship and putting any priority into the relationship. They need to be balanced. The 4 of them need to be balanced. I noticed when there was a problem, it was either 1 or 2 of them really weren't working. And the person who it wasn't working for couldn't work out why now it's not working. Like, we worked so well at the beginning. At the beginning, what happens is you've had your single life. When you first meet, you might have been single or doing your own thing, and that hasn't faded off yet. You're still doing that. Then you meet, then you do the relationship thing, and you're very intense at the beginning and focused on the relationship. But then a lot of people think, oh, well, I've got that now, and they just stop doing that, and all they do is what they want to do. And they will become more selfish. That's how I noticed it. If the person's not putting the relationship first, they will become selfish and want to do it their way all the time. That's how you'll know. They want to do it their way all the time. And my attitude is, you can do it your way when you're on your own, but when we're together, we do it our way. We consider one another's feelings in it, and we try and give the other person what they need, because that's what love does. Love is there. We are there to love them and to make them happy, to please them, to make their day better, to make their life better. That's what love does. You just have to watch it with a mother and a child, how she or he, the father, will put that child first, and they will look after that child and prioritise that child. They will still have their own personal life, but they will actually prioritise that relationship. You can see it everywhere. You see people prioritising relationships. This 4 dynamic also goes into every other relationship. I think you'll find it really interesting when you start looking. Your family relationship will be like that. So if you've got parents who want you to be in a relationship with them and them with you, but they do not want to have their own relationship as an individual person, and definitely don't want you to have your own life, you're going to have trouble with them. They'll be nagging you that you're not coming for tea every second week or whatever, because you're busy, because they don't acknowledge that you also have your own life. In friendships, it can be like that too. You can have friends who they want to go off and have their own single life, have the relationship one, but they don't want you to go off and have a single life. And they will get jealous and territorial if you go out with other people or spend time doing other activities. It's the balance that you want to get. So have a look at your relationship right now and see how balanced it is. Are you getting enough time to do your stuff? Is your partner getting enough time to do their stuff? And is there enough time being given backwards and forwards from those 2 relationship ones that you have, those 2 that I give to you and you give to me? Because really, if you can get the 4 of them working, then a lot of your relationship is actually very stable. It'll keep it stable. Sometimes, for example, if somebody's sick or they're really overwhelmed with work and they're not with you as much because they've got to finish a project, or they've been sick and they're not really in the relationship with you, these things can be accommodated for quite a while, but they can't just be like that forever. The person has to invest in the relationship part too. The other thing is that sometimes a relationship will take priority. Perhaps you've got new family now, you've got babies and little children, and the priority is that you have to work together in the relationship, and you're probably not both doing very much of your own thing, but you don't have enough time. But that will balance back But you can give that to each other. You can just make sure that you say, look, I'm going to mind everyone in the afternoon. You go off and do your thing, go and have your spa, or go and hit some golf balls, whatever you want to do. You can actually make it happen. But there'll be times when circumstances around you will alter. I found it really fascinating when I realised this dynamic. It was so simple, but then it really made it so clear to me. And then I started looking at all my relationships out of my love relationship, and I could see where the imbalance was. Particularly, I noticed that a lot of people wanted to have their own life, do whatever they want. They wanted you to be in a relationship with them, but only on their terms. And they didn't particularly want you to have your own life. I found it really interesting. Selfish people will tend to want to have their single life, like what they do what they want, and then they'll want you to be at their beck and call, and they won't invest much in the relationship, and they'll just do enough to keep it running. Have a look at this. Make sure you get it balanced. Talk to your partner about it. They might find this really interesting. And when you start looking at it too, you can keep working at keeping it balanced, and you'll know when you're not getting enough personal single time and when you're not getting enough relationship time, and you can just shore that up by investing more in there. So just give more investment. And if you're the partner, you then, on the personal one, you invest by giving that person more time out to go and do their thing, and then they give you more time out to do your thing. It's fascinating, relationships, but they're really hard work. But I think once you start understanding how they work and their dynamic, I always find if I understand why it's not working and where it's not working, I can fix it. In my marriage, it worked in only 3 of them, and the one that didn't work was my relationship, the relationship one. He did not invest in the relationship, and he did not prioritise me. He always prioritised himself, and he never could change that, and it actually landed up basically balancing and messing our marriage up. But at least I knew why it wasn't working. The other thing is, if you talk to your partner about this and it continues, well, at least you had a try, didn't you? I had a try, and I just had quite a selfish person I was dealing with, so it was much more difficult. And I just want to say that to you. It's a little bit personal what I'm saying, but if you have got a selfish person and anyone who tends towards being a narcissist, you will actually probably have trouble with the relationship section. So you can either lower your expectations, so if you want to stay with them, or you're basically just going to have to suck it up. You could probably just do a bit less in the relationship so you don't get cranky. Okay, I'll leave you with that. See if you can balance these out and have a look at all your relationships. It's just fascinating. I'm sending you lots of love and lots of light.